hurts. Just scoliosis things. Alright, I'm about to have to disturb the princess at slumber. Sad. This is, of course, my second time filming this because it simply would not be a That's What Skeen Said video without filming it twice, I fear. So, hi. We are filming today on my phone. I'm having some major camera difficulties. Do you want to come up, Bean? Ivy is here. I don't know if she's feeling like hosting today. You want to come up? You can sit with me. We're just doing a podcast. Anyway, so we are filming on my phone today because I'm having some camera difficulties. It's a nightmare. This is what we're working with today, and one of those days. So today, oh, don't try to bite me, Beanie. Today we are doing a standard issue knitting podcast. We're gonna go over a couple of finished objects I have, some works in progress, and a few acquisitions. So let's get started with the finished objects. Okay, first up we have my cloud sweater from Petite Knit. I knit this up in a French yarn. I'm gonna put the name here so I don't embarrass myself, but it's this wonderful little kind of moss green, I would describe it as. And I am super happy with how this sweater turned out, actually. This is, I think, my favorite fitting sweater to date. I think it just lays perfectly and it hits at the perfect length and the sleeves are perfect. I'm just very pleased with how this one turned out, and it has some really cute little details like the rolled hem situation and funnel neck, some shaping, and yeah, overall this was a major win. I was super happy when I finished this up. I have worn it a few times already, but I think it's going to be time to go into hibernation for this one until the fall. And once it's fall, I think I'm going to wear this all the time. Very happy with this one. Up next, I just finished up a test knit for Star-Crossed Knits. This is the Sweet Nothings cami, I think is what she called it. I know it's Sweet Nothings, I just can't remember if it's tank top or cami. So I knit this in 3 strands of Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the color Blueberry Ice Cream. It's just like the perfect lilac-y purple. I love this color, I love the ribbon. I had some issues with this. I ended up having to restart it, I think 4 times, which was a tad bit infuriating. And it wasn't because of the pattern, it was just my personal gauge. I was having some really wonky gauge issues that were not a ton of fun to deal with, but got some different yarn. I can wait. Got some different yarn. I think that did make a difference, just starting over again. And then once I actually got moving on it though, it worked up so quickly. This was done in less than a week. I added some elastic into the I-cord to make the straps a little stretchier. One thing I will say about this pattern is if you are on the cusp of a size, I would recommend sizing down. I don't know if that's recommended in the pattern or anything, but a few of us did have some issues with it being a little bit big. My bust size, I don't really know if I want to give the internet my bust measurement, but in the name of helping you guys, I will. Is 36 inches, and size 3 was from 36 to 38 inches. So I wish I had gone down to a size 2. That way I would just have a little bit more support. It's a little bit big on me, but overall it's still really cute. I'm gonna wear it. I have already worn it once. It's a great pattern. Tamara's allergic to flopping, I think. Like she just can't miss, ever. It's impressive. Yeah, I believe the pattern is out tomorrow, so by the time you're watching this, the pattern will definitely be out and it'll be linked below. All right, and then we have a half of a finished object and an excellent transition into our whips. This is the Petal Drop Sock by Handmade by Florence. Really hard to see lace like in a sock when it's not on your feet, but I'm not putting my feet on the internet for free. But you can kind of get an idea for the lace when it's like this. It's an all-over lacework sock. I really like how it turned out. It fits perfectly. I have started the second one, and this is how far I've gotten. I really need to get on this because I really want to wear the socks. This one is super comfy, super cute. I don't know, I'm having a little bit of second sock syndrome, but I will say this green is giving Charlie XCX's new album Brat. It's giving Bratcore. I fear I need that more than ever, quite frankly. So I'm gonna get back on this and I'm gonna finish up the sock. This one took a little while. I was starting and stopping this one quite a bit just because lace can get a little bit annoying to knit after a while. And when it's like all over lace, that's a bit much. But the pattern is excellent. Florence is another one who I'm just convinced is allergic to flopping. And this is yet another fantastic pattern of hers. I'm knitting this in a indie dyer local to me in Seattle. Her name is Serial Knits. This is her classic sock base in the color Olive Oil. These will be super cute. All right, now into full-on whips. Let's start with my most prolific. I've got a lot of yarn going on over here. This is my halibut sweater. I'm knitting this in Explorer Fibers Earthy DK in the color Pike Place. This was like an exclusive for a drop they did at La Mercerie. That's the orange color, and then the blue for the fish is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Dusty Aqua. Guys, this has taken years off my life, truly. I love how it's turning out. I'm really happy with it, but it's taking forever. One row on this is equivalent to a couple inches on any other project. It just takes me so long to do color work. Yeah, it's just color work isn't the most fun for me. I don't know, I just don't love it. But yeah, I really want this finished object. Something that I think is holding me back a little bit on this is I am going to be making some pretty hefty modifications to the fit. Everything I have read on Ravelry and stuff says that this pattern leans heavily swancho territory, you know, when like the yoke is just too long and it looks like a sweater poncho. That's not the vibe around here. So I'm going to be splitting for sleeves earlier than the pattern recommends, and I'm a little bit scared to do that, guys. I kind of have the spooky wookies. I have the nervy wormies. I don't know. I've never done a circular yoke, let alone, you know, went off pattern on a circular yoke. So I'm just, yeah, and it's hard to find resources. I don't know. I'm just a little scared. I did do a mid-project block on this, and that was the first time I've ever done that. I really liked how it made the stitches kind of relax, and any sort of tension issues definitely improved in the color work, so that was promising. I just need to be brave and get this going, and luckily, like, I am incredibly resilient and brave, so we'll get there. I really want this sweater. Oh, guys, speaking of fish, a crazy transition. I forgot this finished object, which is my very first Ribka pouch. Look at how freaking cute this thing is. I am obsessed with this little guy. So I did mine completely with scraps that I just had laying around, like true scraps, not even like little skeins of yarn, just scraps. I love this so much. I knit this up in like less than a movie, and I'm just obsessed with it. I sewed a little button on for an eye, and I added a drawstring as per the pattern. It's not the smoothest drawstring, but whatever. And then I attached it to my favorite tote bag. So it lives here now. I carry it with me everywhere. I love it dearly, and I'm gonna put my coins in it. Yeah, that's my Ribka pouch. I can't wait to make 80 million more of these. Back to whips. We have 2 more active whips. Okay, this was if anybody has any tips for working with just mohair, please, for the love of God, help me. I have never worked with just mohair and had a good time. Something has always gone terribly wrong. We kept up the trend this time. So this is from the Artful Ewe in Port Gamble, Washington. If you're ever in the area, I highly recommend swinging by. It's a delightful little yarn shop. But this is their kid silk lace made of 72% kid mohair and 28% silk. None of their yarns have color names or anything like that. It's just all yarn that they dye themselves at the store, and it's really cute in there and very cozy. So I definitely recommend stopping by if you're ever in Port Gamble. Yeah, I picked this up actually to hold with a yarn that I'm going to be frogging. A yarn that I will be harvesting from a frogging. But when I got home, the colors just weren't quite right. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to make a cutesy little top out of just this, because it's a beautiful like lemon meringue yellow. I'm obsessed with it. So I casted on the Astrid top. I casted on this little top and then immediately had a tragedy befall me. The yarn that I caked up just started collapsing in upon itself like a dying star. It was really tragic, and it took me hours to try to figure it out and salvage what I could. I didn't end up losing that much yarn, which was a fun surprise. It looked really bad, but we ended up saving most of it, so I just had to like cut I'm gonna have to reattach, which is annoying, and it's just so, ugh. I hate working with just mohair, but it's so pretty. Yeah, if you have any tips, please help me. Last up on the whips, we have my, ooh, this is a precarious situation. We have my June top from Petite Knit, and this is on a really small little cord, so it's kind of hard to see, but I promise it will fit. It's just all squished. Yeah, this is my June top. I'm knitting this in Noro Kakagori in the color 01. It's such a beautiful yarn. It's so colorful, but also kind of muted. I am obsessed with it. So this came with me to several graduation ceremonies. If you have been to a graduation ever, you know 80% of it is just you sitting there waiting for the person that you are there for to walk. So this came with me for those, and it was a very nice one to have because it's super mindless. Excited to split for the front and the back. This guy is worked bottom up. Overall though, I'm really liking it. Oh, back kind of hurts. Just scoliosis things. So I have a few yarn acquisitions. Hear me out. I had been pretty good and I hadn't bought too much yarn as of late, and then things happened. One of the things being the Puget Sound local yarn store tour, I believe is what they call it. It's a really cute little thing that happens around the Seattle area in May. A bunch of the local yarn stores come together and they do a big tour. They have like a little passport and you get stamps. If you collect enough stamps, you get entered for a prize. It's really fun. I got to hold this Angora bunny at one of the shops, and it was, I'll put the picture there, because it was the highlight of my entire life. Like, everything is downhill from that moment. I will never be that happy ever again, quite frankly. It was the softest thing I've ever felt. It was like holding a cloud. It was, oh God, I loved that thing. I think its name was Blueberry. I about died, truly. So yeah, it was the local yarn store tour, and then my favorite indie dyer, Savannah Rose Handmade, hi Savannah, love you queen, did a Midsummer collection, the horror movie Midsummer. She did an original Midsummer collection a few years ago, but she just recently did a Midsummer Rebloom collection. So she re-released the original colors and then added some new colors, and I went a little crazy. I am a big enough person to admit that I spent more money than I should have. However, it was so good. I'll insert pictures of the yarn I ended up purchasing from that pre-order. I got an orange DK weight cotton that I'm going to make a vacation vest out of. I got a hot pink DK weight cotton that I'm going to make, I think, the gushy garter tank out of. And then I got this really beautiful variegated, it's a dream. And I'm going to make another Astrid top out of a single strand of that lace weight. So we have plans for that. That's all good. And then I also did a pre-order from the local yarn store tour of, I think it's Haiku Simply Natural. I'm gonna put a picture here. It had a very heavy silk content. It was like silk and wool, and I'm gonna use that to make a cardigan number 9, the one with the little toggle buttons. But yeah, I need to go pick that up. It's not super urgent though because summer, so very cute for the fall though. And then in terms of yarn I actually physically have with me, first of all, I did start my collection of yarn for a stripe pipe sweater. So I got 6 balls of the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the color Sky, or Cloud, and this is going to be my base color. And then I got the Navy Blue and Pomegranate for my first 2 stripe colors. And then for the next 3, I think I'm going to end up getting Double Sunday for those colors because the Knitting for Olive range didn't really have a comparable color for those. So I'm going to sub in Double Sunday for those ones. But we have got the beginnings of a stripe pipe sweater, and I'm very excited about that. So that's all good and dandy. And then I did go a little bit crazy with the sock yarn recently, considering I still only have 1.5, not even a half, 1 1/8 socks, actual sock weight socks done. But I was feeling inspired, okay? During the Puget Sound yarn store tour, I got another ball of the Serial Knitters regular sock yarn in the color Chiffon. So it's a really pretty, kind of neutrally based, but then it comes in with flecks of blue and pink and gold and red. It's gorgeous. I really like this one. I want to find a really good sock pattern to use for variegated yarns because I'm in my variegated yarn era, I fear. I think every knitter has a phase like this, and then they buy a bunch of variegated yarn and then they're like, well shit, what do I do now? I did think about doing a petal drop camisole in this. I don't know. I might swatch for it. We'll see. So I got that one, and then at the same trip, this was at Acorn Street Yarn Shop. Love them. I let my boyfriend pick out a sock yarn because I'm not knitting him a sweater on account of the curse, but I'm gonna knit him some socks because I'm generous. So he picked out this sock yarn, which is from Knitted Wit. I think they are also a local yarn dyer. This is their 80/20 sock yarn in the color Anacostia Park. This was actually a surprising pick from him. He basically only wears black, green, and blue. So I was actually very surprised when he picked this out. This is a really cool variegated yarn. Orange, green, a little bit of blue, a little bit of pink even. So this was a surprising pick, but I'm a big fan of it. I really like this one. And if you guys have any suggestions for a men's sock pattern, please let me know because I am having such a hard time finding a men's sock pattern. I had no idea that would be such like a gap in the market, but I just cannot find a good one, and especially one that would be good with like a really cool variegated yarn. Let me know if you have suggestions for that. Our last up today is Sorella's sock yarn in the color Shop Around the Corner, and I think this is from her Gilmore Girls collection, maybe? Don't quote me on that. This is Sorella's nylon sock, 80/20. La Mercerie just got some Sorella sock yarns in. I went over to grab the knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. I saw all these while I was there, and for some reason I just really gravitated towards this one. Like I went around the little table they had them all on, and I just kept coming back to this one. I don't know why. It's not really colors I usually gravitate towards at all. It's like tan and blue and pink. There was just something about her that I really enjoyed, so bought that, of course. Do I have a plan for it? But I will say I'm very proud of myself for keeping this in the hank and not caking it up before filming, because that is a thing I have been known to do, is not wait until I film and just immediately cake it up. You have no idea how badly I wanted to. But I didn't, and I didn't for you, so you're welcome. Incredibly generous of me, once again. So, this was my last acquisition in the recent history. I need to place myself on some sort of yarn buying ban of some sort. I'm going to Europe later in the summer, like September-ish, so I really need to stop spending money, first of all. Second of all, I'm gonna buy yarn in Europe. That's unavoidable, so I need to get my shit together and stop buying yarn. I think I have enough to get me through the summer, and I say that knowing full and well I'm going to buy more yarn. My boyfriend actually was like, I feel like half of this hobby for you is just buying yarn. Had the same cadence of the, I feel like you're just here for the zip line.
Ronnie, I feel like you're just here for the zip line.
What?
All you do all day is go on the zip line.
I feel like you're just here for the yarn buying. And it hurt me in a way because I know it's true, but I also don't want to be that guy. So I need to knit through some of my stash here. And we're moving. We are moving in like a month, which I am incredibly sad about, but I think we just applied for a really cute little place. I'm hoping we get it. I hope we get it. It's in a really good location. We really like it. Hopefully that'll happen, and regardless though, we have to move end of July. Oh god, I need to start packing. Yeah, now that I have filled myself with that dread, I think that calls it good. Hopefully the quality on this isn't too terrible and everything went smoothly with this filming, because if I have to film this again, I swear to god, I am going to impale myself with a knitting needle. But that's a joke, kind of. But yeah, so if you have stayed this long, you get a gold star. You know the drill. You're amazing. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, day, night, whatever, wherever you are. And I hope I'll see you in the next one.